Good evening and welcome back to 31 Horror Nights. It's October 20th and tonight's movie is November. This is a movie about how the moment Halloween ends, Christmas commercialism takes over the world. No, it's not. This is really a European movie from 2017 that's sort of like a dark fantasy / horror movie. Apparently this is a village full of spirits and other supernatural things, and it's commonplace and there are regular people living in it. I really do like the concept of a dark fantasy, and it was used very well in things like Spirited Away, Pan's Labyrinth, Over the Garden Wall. I know almost nothing about this movie besides what I've already said, so I'm gonna go watch it. I was afraid this was gonna be one of those boring art house movies, and it kind of was. I'm giving November a 4 out of 10. I just thought it was kind of boring. It is entirely possible that I might just be uncultured and not be able to understand the artistic genius of it, or maybe there's even a cultural barrier, I don't know, but either way, I did not enjoy watching this movie all that much. And I'm not going to be splitting the review up into spoilers and non-spoilers because barely anything even happens in this movie. The main story, if you could even call it that, is this love triangle between the main character Lena, a guy named Hans, and the Baron's daughter. It reminded me a lot of the Eponine, Marius, Cosette love triangle from Les Miserables because Lena was actually a compelling character, Hans was a total fool, and the Baron's daughter had about as much personality as a bowl of oatmeal. One thing I will give this movie is that it has a lot of very good visuals to it. However, I do think it would have been vastly improved if it were in color. One thing that I thought was very interesting in the movie is the idea of the crot. Crots are basically a homunculus that the villagers can make out of random household objects, it seems, and they bring it to life by selling their soul to the devil. Except they just use berry juice instead of their own blood in the pact, and the devil just doesn't catch on. The way that the crots move is very interesting. It's almost like a robotic puppet sort of movement. Hans even makes a crot out of a snowman, which is kind of a dumb idea because it isn't even able to move. But since the snow is made out of water that's been around forever and has seen a lot of things, it's actually very well spoken and interesting. This is a movie where a snowman is the best character in it. And that's still not even that high of a bar to clear because aside from Lena, every other character in the movie is stupid, horrible, or completely bland. There's this monster in the movie that they only ever refer to as the Plague, and they somehow trick it into not killing all of them. But by the end of the movie, I was starting to wish the Plague had killed every single villager in the movie. There are bland characters, but the bad characters range from bad to completely disgusting. The movie is at its best when it's actually playing into the dark fantasy side of it, showing us these weird supernatural things or showing us really pretty scenes and shots and sequences. The movie's at its worst when you actually have to be with the characters being awful. In fact, at the very last part of the movie, there's kind of a thing, it was like, you humans, you trick people and you steal from each other and you don't keep your promises. And then one of the characters is asked why he wouldn't trade his soul, and he says, I don't have a soul. Like it's somehow a shock that these people are awful. That was obvious. While pretty, I think that November mostly suffers from a bad cast of characters. Anyone that's not a blank sheet of paper or a horrible person is criminally underused. And even though it was barely about anything, it was still really hard to follow. There are some good ideas in November, but you need more than some good ideas to make a good movie. Other people might have loved it, but I did not care for it. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow.